Howdy, folks. This is Luthier, Alabama Guitar Junior Phineas Entwistle Jones son. And I'm going to show you how I restring a classical guitar. This is my first guitar I ever made, so pardon me if it's a little rough around the edges. I completed it in 1978 in Woodbury, Connecticut. And it's been a work in progress over the years. It sounds great. And so I'm going to restring a guitar. So I want to outline a couple of things that I'm going to need. So there's the tools that I use. Hang on a minute, I'm getting a little something here also. Sorry. So, yeah, so we have a string winder, a sharp tool, a dull mind, and also if I get super frustrated or lose my pick, I have a little pick extractor here, and then a string cutter. All right, so the first thing you do, oh, and also some nice D'Addario strings donated by my friend Lisa Lazarick at D'Addario Strings for this event. And so the first thing you do with any guitar before you cut the strings is you take your string winder and you loosen all the strings up. Okay, so that's first thing. So go ahead and do that. If you're following along, make sure you follow the bouncing ball, kids. So we're going to loosen up all the strings first. And then I take my string cutter and I just cut them like that. There you go. Okay, and then I take this, being careful not to gouge the bridge. I slip under here and get all these nice knots out of here. And those are gone now. Okay, and I recycle those thanks to D'Addario Strings. They recycle them too. I get the nut. This is a nice bone nut that I made. Very nice. Oh, look at that. I made it in 2017. Okay, next step, I get my sharp tool and pull out the strings here. There's a knot there, so I undo the knot. It's not a knot. Well, then what is it? Okay, I'm doing this fast. If you're not real skilled with this, take your time so you don't gouge stuff. But I do a couple of million of these a year at Guitar Center. And you can say what you want about Guitar Center, but they've been pretty good to me. One year, I can't believe this still to this day, but the second year that I was a guitar tech there, I actually tallied up the instruments for the year, and I did 5,000 instruments in 1 year. I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't see the numbers. See, so now around here, I'm going to get in here and pop this like that, see? Now, this is my instrument, so I don't care if I ding it a little bit, but I'm not dinging it. So again, don't go at this speed. If you're new to this, and you probably are, if you're watching this, take your time and have a care, because this is somebody's baby once. All right, so I got the last string out right here. Now, next thing I do is I take some 000 or triple aught, as they say in some parts of the country, and I just scrub the bejesus out of this fingerboard with 40 steel wool. Now you can go ahead and buff this out more than this, but this is pretty much what they use at the factory. So that's what I use.
Rolling.
Okay. One thing you might notice is that I do it over the floor because I don't want these filings on the next really nice 1946 D'Angelico or something that I happen to work on. So, you know, I brush the filings with this nice brush the Sweetheart of the Blues was nice enough to give me one year for my birthday. and I brush everything off. I did get some on the mat here, so I get that all off because I don't want this on my Rogue or Mitchell guitar, because you know those are tone machines. You don't want them to. Yeah. So, all right. Now then, the next step is I take some all natural oil and I put it on the fingerboard. Just a little bit, just a little dabble do ya, as they say. I'm going to spread that around, and then I'm going to let that soak for about an hour or so. And so I'm going to come back after that's all soaked in. Ah, that smells so good. All righty. And that's what I do. Okay, so I'll be back in an hour or so once this is soaked in. Okay, so this has been soaking for hours. Nyak, nyak, nyak. It depends, you know, on the instrument. This one is already pretty set up, and so it didn't. A lot of it didn't soak in. Some instruments it soaks it right up. And I use a natural oil. Why a natural oil? Well, don't rush me. I'll explain that. Okay, so when you put a petroleum-based oil in this, it soaks in, everything looks great, but then about 2 weeks later, it's evaporated, taking the natural oils of the wood with it. So guess what? Then you have to use more of the petroleum product. So that's why I don't use petroleum-based products, because our food chain is pretty short. Oil field, cornfield, grocery store. So I'm trying to stay out of that. Anyway, that looks really, really beautiful now. So then what I do is, before I put the strings on, is I take this Acme guitar cleaner, and I'll just get all the stuff off the top. Get all the stuff off the top, because it's easier to clean when there's no strings on it. Alright, thank you, Adrianna, for your patience in filming this. You're awesome. Yeah, alright, I'm not going to do the wax on this one. By the way, this is a violin varnish, and so don't put petroleum-based products on your violin varnish. Alright, now then. Now I'm ready for the strings. Get the strings out. They're pre-stringed, and so no, they're not. Anyway, these are nicely labeled by D'Addario. So now here's what I do, and a lot of people do it differently. Everybody, you know, does a different kind of a restring. And I've been doing restrings for a long time. Okay, so then what I do is, you know, I've been doing this a long time, and this is the way I wrap strings. I'm doing this left-handed, by the way. Right-handers will do it the opposite way. I do it twice, like that. Just get it under there twice, and make it nice and tight like that. Actually, on this string, you could have done it 3 times. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time on, yeah, one more time here. Sorry. Because some strings are different. I'm usually using the different strings from these, but these are, thought I'd give these a try. So yeah, so what you want to do is you want the tail of the string, you want the tail of the string to go that way. On right-handers, it would go that way. Alright, so now you do that, and you get your A string out, and on some strings, it's noticeable, like on that low E, it's noticeable which one goes in the bridge. On these, either way, either end can go. Alright? So now you go in here, you get another one, and you go under the previous string, and you wrap this one around like this. On these, I'll do it twice. Once, twice. And make sure you leave some tail going off. Alright, kind of like a sugar tail. See that? Then you do the next string. Alrighty, here comes your D string. And everybody, make sure you make comments about the G string, everybody. So this one, I want to be able to pop this up. So you go under those strings. Make sure when I get to the next string, make everybody write some comments in the comments about the G string. Like, I've never heard any jokes about the G string before. So make sure you put all your G string jokes in there for me. See how nicely that's coming out? Now, folks, here's your chance. Here's your chance. The G string. All right, same thing with the G string. You want to make sure it goes under the other previous strings, and see how it's wrapping them all up very nicely. I'm giving it like a nice little bit of a tail there, like kind of like a sugar tail. Once again, I do it twice, pull it nice and tight. Should look like that. Okay, folks, sorry, it's the B string now. It's nothing to joke about, okay. Same thing, B string goes in. Make sure it picks up under the other strings. And you get once and twice, that's all I do. Pull it tight, and then the E string is different, and I'll show you why. So with the E string, you get the same thing here, you get underneath the other strings, but this time you wrap it the other way. Why? I'll show you. The other ones were going one way. This is going the other way. Why? Because when I'm done, look at that. That string is going back that way. What do I do with it? Good question. You loosen these slightly, and you feed it through those. As many as you can. Pop it open a little bit. You go under there like that. And then you pull them all snug. Try and make that go down like that. Yes. Now that's what you want it to look like. And then I kind of give them all a nice snug. So that's what the bridge is going to look like when you're done. Except for this little trim here. I'm going to trim that off, of course. Okay, now you go up to the headstock. Okay, so on the headstock side, there's a lot of different ways people do stuff, ranging from pretty cool to absolutely ungodly awful. So here's the, I think, I don't know who does this. One of the manufacturers, Cordoba or somebody, I swiped this off of. So what you do is you feed the string in this way. And you send it around through that way. Make a nice loop like that. Put it back in there. And then you pull it tight. Now then, you see that knot? Yeah. Yeah, there you go. So then on this string, on this string, I wind the E that way. Now, why do you do it that way? Well, you don't want the strings to interfere with one another, kind of like a violin. The violin strings, you don't wind them so that they're winding on top of one another, because it will affect the tuning of each string. See, so that's what you do there. And then I kind of trim them as I go. You don't have to, but I kind of just clip that like that. And that's how that goes. Same thing on the next one. I do them all like this with the, well, I'll show you one more time. Here we go. Wind it around. It comes out. You give it a little loop over there like that. And then you pull it tight. Now on this one, I'm going to wind the string like that. And then I'm going to do one over like that. So it really locks onto itself. This is, and you want the strings to end up being as straight a line as you can from the nut to the tuner. Alright, D string. What? Oh. The sweetheart of the blues has pointed out that I didn't trim that string. Oh boy, she catches on quick. Okay. There you go. Same thing with the D string. And this one I'm going to wind that way, so it doesn't interfere as much as possible with the other strings. Out here, what I do here with this one is I fold it over that string so that it wraps that string down. And when I get to this wind right here, I just take a little snick off the end so it lays down flat. Just like that. Whoop. See that? Yeah. And then
turn the light off on the drill. That's interfering with the camera.
I can't.
You can? Okay.
No. That's just the way it is. Okay. G string. Everybody get back to your jokes that you didn't do the first time. On the G string, I'm going to wind it this way as much as possible. So, same thing. You make the knot just like that. And here, I lie it down on that string. Do about 3 of them. And then on the third one, I snick that end down a little bit so it lies down flat. I said I snick that end down so it lies down flat. There. It's in focus there, yeah. Nice. Okay. You see that? B string. So I do it I do this 6 times, so hopefully you can get it by the 6th time. I do it a little bit different with the E string and sometimes the B, but see here, same thing. You pull it snug and then lie it down over the string, and this locks it down. Right here, I snick that end off so it lies down nice and straight. I said I snick that end off so it lies down nice and straight. Geez, this one's stubborn. Here we go, one more time. There. Klein Tools, thank you very much. See, I'm a real persnickety. I want that lying right down there. Doesn't want to do it. One more time. I will not let that string defeat me. It's defeating me. like I said, I lie it down like that. Why am I so persnickety? I don't know. And now the E string is a little bit different. I do the same knot. So the knot is not the same. I mean, the knot is the same. All right, so I put the knot in there like that. And I use as much string as I can. I save as much string as I can. So now here, I wind it over it this way, twice, and then I wind it back over, like that. And then I continue on. When I get to here, I snick that end off, just like that. And then I just wind it up as normal. And take a look at that. The whole thing. That's how you wind it. See how the strings are nice and straight relative to each other, and no strings are winding over each other or anything like that. Everything is lined up nice. That's how I do a classical guitar. The last thing I do right here is I just snick that end off flush with the bridge. Boom. And basta, she's a done. All right, thanks for watching. Hope this helps.